don't have accommodation. You have corporates that are placed in places that have absolutely zero help from the system. You have people pay to be posted to a different place. I mean, it happens everywhere. I just believe the implementation of the system is flawed. And by the state of residence, I don't think that a Yoruba or an Igbo boy born in Kaduna, it doesn't make you less of an Igbo and a Yoruba boy, but you are from Kaduna. Why? I believe you protect where you call home, your organizational behavior. I was born and raised in Enugu State, but my parents are from Imo. Where do you think I actually know?
Enugu now.
But I can't do anything in Enugu State. I have to go to Imo State.
Are you kidding?
No, but isn't that the law?
Is that the law now?
Lagos is a little different because I understand that in Lagos, it doesn't matter, you've had senators or anything, but that's not practicable in any state outside of this. Legally, you can do something, but you are not from there, this indigenization concept. And I feel that makes people grow where they have no passion for. Let's look at that in law enforcement. You take a northern policeman, let's say a policeman from Kaduna, post him to Ogun State. His family is in Kaduna. He's the only one in Ogun State. There's a shooting somewhere, very violent shooting. What real interest does he have to interfere? What does he have to lose? Now, hold that thought. If his kids and his family are residents of that state and there's a problem, what do you think he would do? It doesn't matter his tribe. It doesn't matter his region. That's his home. So you can't post people where they have no affinity, no family association. And that's because of this indigenization concept, I believe. You have Igbo kids, I would say, grow up in the north. They don't call themselves northerners, but they're more northerners than Igbo. Where is their productivity coming from? For me, I simply believe that if we are able to do so, then you can see Igbos, you can see Yorubas that are in the north say, this is where I'm from. They participate locally, they participate nationally, but in that interest of their organizational behavior, not necessarily this geographical land called Southwest.
But sometime in the past, in our history, we've had people who were not from particular ethnic groupings residing there and even running for public office and being voted for successfully.
It's not illegal, but is it practicable?
But what went wrong? It seems we don't trust ourselves.
Possibly.
Or we're suspicious of each other.
Well, to me, on my own capacity, I believe that's that vacuum of leadership. Because based on my experience, when you say this vacuum of leadership, it's not that somebody is not occupying that seat. But when you have someone unqualified in a position that has nothing to offer, they feed on your fears. When you have an unqualified leader as the governor of a state, they will tell the locals that the foreigners are taking their jobs. Now, without those foreigners, would those jobs exist in the first place? What kind of jobs are we talking about? So it boils down to leadership at the end of the day, regardless. I think every other issue we're identifying as symptoms of a problem. I like using local examples. If you have a stream that is polluted, it's like water fountain falling down and it's polluted. Where do you start treating the water?
From the top.
You have to start from the top. Regardless of what you do on the bottom, the dirty water still comes down. We have to go all the way upstream. Is it going to be overnight? Absolutely not. But it has to be a buy-in from our stakeholders. Without that, I think we're just rubbing Band-Aid on the issues.
Now, you see, I want to dwell a bit more on the role of the youth in nation building. Historically, those who emerged as leaders were young people at some point, some of them even getting elected to the House of Representatives or even the Senate at 23, 25 and all that. And we even had a head of state who who got married in office and he was in his early 30s. Today, the people in that age grouping seem to be so disillusioned that what we keep hearing most of the time is about them, some of them, not all of them, but the ones that are very popular are those who engage in internet fraud, popularly or called Yahoo Yahoo and all that, or who just want to get rich quickly. Do you think if the National Youth Service program were overhauled, there could be something in it for the youth to assist them in looking forward to a very good future of service?
The question you hit on, the way I would tackle it is I look at things differently. One key thing is I try to look at things, it's easy to look at things from a first and second person perspective. But to push it a notch, also try to look at it from the third and the fourth person perspectives, where you don't see the people that would benefit from your actions. To me, I see the fraudster as a very intelligent person that is misdirected. It's not easy to scam people out of their money. Now imagine that same fraudster in a lab somewhere working on some research. It's misdirection.
Yeah.
The youth of this country, which I believe I'm still a part of, is lack of direction that bothers us. Now, I can blame us for not taking charge. I'm not saying we're lack of blame. But it translates from the fact that we've sold our souls to cash. In Igbo, there's a proverb, it might lose meaning in translation, which says, if you tell a kid what it takes to be successful, he would rather be poor.
Say it first in Igbo.
Okay, what it just means, if you tell a poor person what it takes to be successful, he will rather be poor. The problem with that is people look at success as money. That's a literal translation. But it's a proverb, which means it's not supposed to be a literal translation. Now, if you flip it, that word success could be anything. It could be being a great father. It could be being a mentor, being a teacher that graduates all your students of your class and make sure that they advance. It could be anything. It could be a businessman that takes care of people. It could be an orphanage that gets kids placed. That's success. But what is success to the average person today? How much money is in your bank account? I'm not taking away the merits of economics, but the point is that we have translated success as cash. And if you translate it as cash and I don't have a job, I'm going to do whatever means necessary to get cash because that's what we've translated success to be. And at the end of the day, it boils down to direction, misdirection, I would say, lack of leadership. Growing up, the adage used to be, walk before you run. Technology makes it, you don't necessarily need to walk, you can run. Communication has been hastened, but are we really following? I don't think we are. Look at internet penetration in the country. I wouldn't say it's where it is currently. I believe investment in technology, absolutely. I don't think we are where we are technologically to be able to do anything else. But technology should play a role, and that's where the youths are involved. Mass communication is easy now. You can literally reach masses with a tweet. It matters. But also, it comes with its own problems. Fake news.
Fake news.
Fake news destroys more than bullets because it poisons minds.
Yeah.
So as much as I'm very pro-technology, I believe in technology that is checked also. That's where I am. Everything that has a positive also has a negative. We have to be in the in-between.
Still talking technology, you know, I know that, for instance, in our space,
Yes.
the media space, a lot has happened. You have more people now who watch stuff online than like 10 years ago.
Yes.
Or like even than 3 years ago. But you find that most people still need to subscribe to pay before they can use certain apps and all that. Is it just because it's here in Nigeria and the cost of data and all that?
I wouldn't really say it's because it's Nigeria. I think it's an economic model. If I build a platform, it's all purely economics. I wouldn't fault someone if they make something free or if they make something to pay. I think if you make yours to pay, it creates me an opportunity to have one that is for free. So for me, I don't think that is our problem. I just don't think that our governments, I'm not specific to any
Level.
I'm not saying general. I actually prefer to call him general. I don't think his government is at fault in terms of technology penetration or anything like that. What I just think, we don't have a roadmap to be inclusive. What is our rural technology plan? You go to some places, there's no cell reception. But other countries now are making sure that everybody's online to be able to be reached for whatever reason it is. Where we're going with technology, honestly, I don't even think that's the first step. I think we just don't have a roadmap. And personally, I religiously believe for us to get anything right, we have to go back to the drawing board to define this entity called Nigeria, because it's not working.
We'll continue with that definition very soon. We'll take a break now.
Thank you.
So welcome back to the program. Alfred is still my guest. Yes, Alfred. You said something about a roadmap. What kind of roadmap do you want to develop?
For me, my objective is I would like to create a roadmap where an opportunity that will help us define this entity. For me, having met a lot of people in this country, having been to a lot of places in this country, and I've taken pride of going to about 34 states in this country by road.
By road?
Yes. And the beauty about that is you see how beautiful this country can be. My love for this country has no relationship with being north or south. I just look at it from a potential perspective. And it's sad when you see talent being wasted. I feel privileged on my own to have been able to be sent to the kind of school that I was sent to by my parents, to have the privilege to go to a different country. But how do we implement that back home?
But that's your trip
Yes.
to 34 states
Yes.
by road. Give me like 2 takeaways.
This country is beautiful.
This country is what?
It's beautiful.
That's one.
Yes. The potential of the potential is massive. But it also shows me that what unites us is way bigger than what divides us.
That's deep.
Our similarities are way more than our divisions. Our divisions are probably language, religion.
Yeah.
How does that stop us from integrating? But the unification possibilities that we have in this country are huge,
Yeah.
humongous.
In about, say, 50 years, if that were possible, how would you forecast Nigeria would be?
First of all, now I want to go back to walking before we run.
Okay.
Okay? Because just like Wi-Fi technology, somewhere at the back, there is a cable. I don't think we can progress the way the system is set up. I do not believe so. Because if you look at a typical Nigerian, you see eyes filled with hopelessness. And that is a problem. If you bring a typical Nigerian that's probably not from what we'd call the middle class or the upper class and whatnot, what is their hope? What are they looking forward to? When you identify the word Nigeria to them, what does it mean? To me, it's hopelessness, and that is the drive.
But how do we address this?
We have to sell hope back.
Sell hope back?
Yes.
How?
By redefining Nigeria. I'm not saying it's up. Number one is, if it was easy, it would be a cakewalk. It would be a child's play. I'm not saying that what we desire to get, that what we desire to want to do is, it's not supposed to be easy. But I see a Nigeria where if a Yoruba boy is good in solar technology, we should ship him out to the northwest. No, northeast. If an Igbo boy is good in agriculture, we send him out to the Northwest. If an outside kid happens to be one of the best petrochemical engineers that graduated, he has no business in the North. He should be in the South-South. Vice versa. There are so many. The beauty of this country is its diversity. Southwest doesn't have everything. Southeast doesn't have everything. The North doesn't have everything. So we have to break down those barriers to make everyone feel at home, that this is home, so that we're in the Southwest, so that a Yoruba kid could wake up and go to Kaduna and meet their residency laws and be a Yoruba person from Kaduna. His interest is now in Kaduna. I don't see how that affects his tribe. But for us to progress, for him to be able to do that, which is what I believe will progress us. Now, this is not something that you say, this is a magic one, let's do this and Nigeria will be better. No, do I expect resistance? Absolutely. But I just hope that my generation will realize that our parents failed us.
That's unfair.
That's our reality. But more challenging that we don't fail our kids.
I want to challenge you.
Please go ahead.
Your generation cannot say that your parents' generation failed you,
They're the leaders.
but they gave you education. They sent
What
you
kind
to
of
school.
education?
They exposed you.
I've met mass comm students that have never touched the camera. I've met computer engineers that have never had a laptop. I have met pharmacists that I haven't met pharmacists, but I'm mostly in my technological space. But I have met graduates that only studied what the school offered them.
They didn't have a practical side to it.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I have met someone that one of my sisters desired to be a pharmacist, but she never got a school that offered her that. Actually, now it's automatic for me that if you tell me you studied something of biological sciences, I believe you wanted to be a doctor. That you just couldn't get medicine. That education is flawed. The education we have here is a certificate. It's not practical.
So that's not just about the parents, because some of your group are already in the educational system.
Well,
So maybe that takes us back to your leadership failure mantra.
science teaches us. I read a book by Marcus Aurelius that said, every complex problem, simplify it. When I study Nigeria from my own lens, from my capabilities, which I want to believe is different from a whole lot of people, if I were to simplify it, it narrows down to leadership. What is the job of a leader? To give direction. Why is this road bad? The road being bad is not the problem, is why is it actually bad? If we narrow it down, whose job is it to do? If you narrow it all the way down, you could do with budgeting, you could do with enforcement, you could do with a whole lot of things. But for me, the leadership vacuum happens to be our whole problem. And I pray and hope that my generation would understand that the only way out of this is to play inclusive politics. But not just playing inclusive politics, the objective should be first, let's redefine this entity called Nigeria in our own terms, where we will all believe that it's home.
Okay, so inclusive politics. Let's talk politics a bit.
Please.
But I will relate it to something about development. Growing up, I know that sports was used as a tool
Yes.
to harness the boundless energies of youngsters. And there was something you could predict. Oh, this guy, send him to go and learn swimming. This one, train him in track and field and all that. And then, of course, football. How is our sports field like now, as a young person?
We're a sports-loving nation, football-loving nation.
What does that mean?
I want to believe that we are all into the European Premier League,
Yes,
English Premier League. Whenever they're playing, we know everything. What is ours? What teams do we have? What is you hear about our female soccer stars come back and they're not paid. You hear about our athletes go to perform to come back and they're not being paid. What is the motivation to represent this country? That is on the professional side. What is the growth plan? We don't have stadiums. When I was in primary school between 1991 and 1996, there's always inter-house sports. Every year there is an inter-house sports. You look forward to it. We compete with each other. How relevant is that now in harnessing the capabilities of the youth? We're soccer-loving nations. How many mini soccer pitches would you say you have? I'm sure you travel, you go to the UK, which is also a soccer-loving nation. You drive within neighborhoods. How many soccer pitches would you see? It doesn't have to be massive, but you see people practicing. Growing up in the States, we're more basketball and American football. You see basketball rims in virtually every county. You don't need anybody else to just go and practice. I believe sports on its own, even the income it will generate for this government, for the system, but let's not even focus on the income. Let's focus on the human capacity development. But we're not doing anything about it. What are the ministries doing to say, let's find the future stars of tomorrow and harness them? You look at, unfortunately, because of COVID, nobody is really looking at Olympics 2021. But I remember in 1996 in the Olympics, you can identify more than 20 Nigerian names born in Nigeria, not born abroad, born in Nigeria, that naturalized on different countries, just so that they will have the opportunity to participate. Why should that be the case? We are pushing away doctors. We're pushing away lawyers. We're pushing away professors. And in the same space, other people are coming in. Who are those people? Do they see this place more as a home than we do? I don't know. I don't have the answer. But I genuinely believe that running away isn't the solution. But I can share their pain. I can share the pain of a 21-year-old or a 22-year-old that's probably the oldest in their family with no job, with a supposed degree and no job. What is he or she supposed to do? The parent might be retired without a pension. Is someone being penalized? You see a government official or a pension commissioner or whatever loot the pension. I'm particular about the pension because that is the livelihood of families. What happens to him or her? What is this down effect of those? What is the downstream effect of ruining the pension system?
That's the kind of thing that will lead me to ask you about the impact of discipline. That's personal and corporate discipline. In our society, everything seems to have fallen apart.
You can relate it to, I honestly can't even say it's one thing. I genuinely believe we have sold our souls to the concept of cash. Cash is king. Whatever you have to do to make money. I have zero problem with economics. I have zero problem with the pursuit of your happiness. I actually religiously believe that. And if I get the opportunity, what I want to sell people is more strength in your pursuit of happiness, whatever your happiness might be. I can't make you to do good things, but I can punish you for doing bad. The limits to where we have decayed as a nation, I can't put a hand to where it is. But I can say it started from the erosion of the local governments.
Okay, but then what about the home? What about the home? Discipline starts in the home.
Yes, discipline starts in the home. And let's say, for example, a mother is supposed to discipline a child. Fair enough. Is the mother at home? Where is she? What if she's working? What system do we have? I don't think it's a one-size-fits-all. I do genuinely believe that, yes, family plays a huge part in a child's upbringing. But for me to judge a parent, I have to know where you're coming from.
In trying to know where they're coming from,
yes,
you must also try to understand, what the basic thresholds are for us as a society. what's acceptable in our society today?
Everything is, everything goes.
Then we're not going anywhere.
That's the decay we have. Let's use driving, for example.
Yes.
How do drivers here behave?
What's the punishment?
There's no price to pay. But the same person, would they do that in front of the cantonment gate? The same driver that would come here, double park, block the road, no care about the backup of traffic or whatever, run a red light, would they do the same in front of the cantonment gates where the military are? Price and punishment.
Well, so then it's
There's no price to pay for anything goes in Nigeria today.
I believe that even the individual should be able to say, this is beneath me, I'm not going to do it.
But then you're taking away the concept of being human. As human beings, we will do whatever we'll get away with. If not, there wouldn't be laws. The law is there to enforce what we desire as a society.
So now, imagine a young person, well, a person, let's not say is young or old, a person who wants to be involved in politics but who has no personal scruples and all that. What kind of politician is that going to be?
That's a tough one.
Yes, it is.
Because it's intrinsic. My motivation didn't come from anybody. My motivation came when I realized that I mustn't be the king. I mustn't be the number one. Because speaking with my colleagues, speaking with a bunch of friends, speaking with people I believe that are opportuned, the bigger problem that we have, I don't know if it's a black problem, but the biggest problem we have, nobody wants to be willing to pay the ultimate price. Nobody wants to do anything they will not enjoy the benefits of it. Nobody wants to start anything that they will not live to enjoy, which is a big problem because life has a weird sense of humor.
Yeah.
I could start something, and Martin Luther King, did he see the civil rights he fought for?
No, he didn't.
It actually got propelled after his death. So do you think his wife was happy about that? I bet you not. She wants her husband, probably. I don't know her, but I want to assume that she wants her husband. For me, like I said, the itch that is itching me is a selfish interest. Very selfish. It just happens to be that this is home. I'm not doing it because I love anybody else. I'm not doing it because I love the people. I'm doing it because I want my home to be better.
You want your home to be better. You want your people to
And
be better.
if you're an occupant of my home, you'll benefit.
Okay, so now let's localize it. You're from Imo. You schooled in Enugu, more or less grew up in Enugu. But what you would like to do, your circumstances will prevent you from being able to do it in Enugu. That's the truth?
Like I said, it's, for me, let me just say something. I hope it doesn't take us away.
Yeah, we're
I think
still
a
there.
few years back, Abia State was created from Imo. But the Abia State governor told the Imo State teachers or something to go home. I had a problem with that. These are people that have lived there all their lives. But that's the issue that we're talking about. Enugu State and Anambra, this indigenization concept of somebody telling you you're not from here. How can you tell someone that have lived in a place all their lives that they're not from there? There are Igbo people in Lagos that are more Igbo than some Yoruba people that probably have never lived in Lagos. My wife was born and brought up in Lagos. She speaks more Yoruba than Igbo. You would actually think she's more Yoruba until you probably hear her name and last name and whatnot. To me, my Nigeria, and I'm internalizing it because it might not be someone else's, and I believe there should be diversity of opinions. There should be diversity of minds. We should not all agree. In my Nigeria, she's a Lagosian.
Yes, she is.
Lagos is a little different.
No, but she's a Lagosian.
Okay.
She is a Lagosian.
And yeah, an Igbo person from Lagos.
Yes.
That's my Nigeria.
That's who
the
she
way I
is.
want to say it. Well, I'm not sure that's how it is applicable in the whole country. Though.
Well, you said Lagos. That's how it is in Lagos.
No,
I
no,
can
no,
say
Lagos is
that.
one
And you
out
have
of 30.
experienced it.
Yes.
So, but what I'm saying is that if it happened that in Imo, no, not Imo now, in Enugu, where you grew up,
Yes.
right? You can't come out to run
Yes.
for, say, Senate.
The local sentiment.
Yes. They say,
Is
no,
that
he's
you're
not
not-
one of us.
No.
How do we prevent that? That's people saying that.
And that's when
That's
words,
not government now. That's people.
Yes, sir. That's when words matter. That's when psychological matter. That's when orientation matters. Because when you look at a document, it says states of origin. You didn't ask me where I reside. That state of origin could be lack of our documentation processes because they're trying to verify a whole lot of things, but it has a gravid effect. Because if all we know is a state of residence, then you should never bring up Imo. You can ask me
Or
place
even
of
state
birth.
of birth.
Yes.
Yes.
If we focus on that, that's the thing about time. It might not be my generation. But my grandchildren, when they grow up, they'll look at their friends and, where were you born? Then we can have that mindset that it doesn't matter where somebody's from. The America we look up to, George Bush is from Texas. His younger brother is from Florida. Obama was born in Hawaii. He was the senator from Chicago. I forgot where Hillary Clinton was born, but she's the senator from New York.
Yes.
It doesn't matter because these states define their residency laws. And the moment you meet those residency laws, you're a resident. That's where you're from. That you were born in America, you're an American citizen, not a state resident. You have to actually reside in the states and meet their residency laws to be a resident of that state. I moved from Boston to Georgia. I'm no longer a Boston resident. I have zero business with Boston anymore. Now I'm a resident of Georgia. Whatever I want to do, if I want to run U.S. local politics, I can only run it in Georgia now, even though I've lived there less than a year, because I met their residency laws. So it's the downtrodden, it's the psychological effect of words. It matters. If you keep asking me state of origin, the word origin means something. You didn't ask me place of birth. You didn't even ask me if I've gone there. What does it matter? Ask me where I'm born. Ask me where I reside. If you don't have my father's documentation, how is that my problem? But I genuinely believe that word, state of origin and state of, I believe that word, state of origin, should be scrapped.
Okay.
It has a
The
negative
concept
effect.
of state of origin should be scrapped.
I genuinely believe that.
Okay, well, before it is scrapped, I know that your state of origin is Imo.
Yes.
It's Imo.
Yes.
Now, so your parents are from Imo, so you have some very deep affinities with Imo.
Absolutely.
All right, so looking at Imo State today,
Yes.
what role do you think not what role, Imo State today,
Yes.
what are its potentials?
I have taught the states, even for economic possibilities, when I was running my company here. Just like every other state in the country, in this country, which I believe is blessed, it's blessed with youth. And no nation can run without youth. It's just direction of energy. Where are you directing that energy towards?
So there's youth.
Youth is the power, is the will. The Chinese population and all that, if they get into their 60s now, that becomes a liability. It's that youth from, I would say, for lack of a better word, 16 to maybe 45 or something, that productive youth. The state is blessed with youth. Abundance, natural resources and whatnot. They're just not being harnessed. Now, I don't want to say is this administration or that administration. As a collective, we don't have the kind of leadership we desire or we deserve.
That's generally and then particularly in Imo State. Now, what do you think the youth can do in this particular case of Imo State?
Well, if I isolate it, I think it's going to be roll out and everything because it's the same. But if we trace back a little bit to the End SARS movement, what I got out of that movement is the power of organization. Now, I'm not talking about the end results or what started it, but the power when people come together. What I believe was wrong with it was the direction of the movement. Okay, how, strategy, bullet points, a figurehead. You can't run anything without a figurehead. But let it be a sample, a test sample of how things come up. What I love about what happened is the potential. When people come together, what can happen? And whatever can happen to Imo State can happen to Enugu, can happen to Ogun, Ondo, everywhere. Nigeria is blessed with youth. I'm not 100 on the numbers, but I think about 40 to 60% of the Nigerian population are youths. If we grade it from the 18 to 45 or something, are youths.
Yeah.
Productive youths.
Yeah.
Are we taking advantage of what is our unemployment population? It's skyrocketing now. So for me, I want to say it's unfortunate because you can't say I want to build road when someone is hungry. You can't say I want to do this, build hospital, when someone is not even eating. I think we have a microeconomic problem. And that we have leaderships that don't understand the importance of small-term wins.
Okay. So what kind of small-term wins would you suggest in the case of Imo?
A hypothetical.
Yes, hypothetical, yes.
A hypothetical, if I were to run Imo State, number one would be, how do I put food on the table of citizens? It could be a welfare. It could be, give me your documentation. We have NIN now, we have BVNs now, where I find out the people that are not, the population that are not working, maybe the first week, 2 weeks, mini handout just to be able to be sure that people have something to eat. You create a skill acquisition program whereby after 3 months for this to continue, you must go somewhere to get a skill. When you come out of that, I have to also be prepared to be able to offer you something. It could be a credit to start whatever it is you're good at.
Yeah.
But it is very hard to talk to a hungry person. And when people are hungry, you could, and I think that's why stomach infrastructure politics works. And I think that's why our politicians today take advantage of it. When people are hungry, they can do anything to eat. Short-term solution will be putting food on the table. Now, that's the end result. How we go about that. We don't have social programs. Who takes care of the disabled? If someone is genuinely disabled doesn't mean when you have, it could be psychological. It could be emotional, it could be a mental problem. You're disabled. Who takes care of those people? Are they not citizens?
Yes, they are.
What plans do we have for them? Is it when we see them roaming on the streets and then naked trying to eat out of the gutter that we think they have, we call this a mad person? No. It could be a psychological problem that probably just needs health care.
Okay.
Yes.
We'll take another break now. We'll be back. So welcome back to Timeless Conversations with Alfred Okoro as my guest. So Alfred, we're talking politics now.
Yes, sir.
Politics, young people are not participating.
No.
Why?
We have political parties not based on ideology. I'm speaking from my
Yeah, go ahead.
experience.
mean,
And
you're
I want to
qualified.
believe a lot of people share the same sentiment. What really is the difference between APC and PDP?
Title.
Half of the governors from PDP have migrated to APC. What is their ideology? I do not believe we have ideology-based politics. Now, the problem, because I haven't played in that politics, could be completely different, but it doesn't exist. You can't say that PDP is conservative and that APC is liberal. You cannot say that. Even though I believe that a party should both have a liberal and conservative arms of it, depending on the geographical region, whereby one party even let's use APC for example, the northern part of the country are more conservative than the southern part. So I would expect APC members in the north to be more conservative than APC members in the south. But people do not participate because they do not believe in the message. I was not going to lie. I have never been around in a time where people were filled with hope. Maybe it turned out to just be a marketing gimmick. It's not just about me directly, but where is those promises? And for me personally, I voted for General Buhari. Yeah, maybe I think what we have is President Buhari, but what I voted for was the general that was going to instill discipline in us, that was going to bring us this military structure. I'm not sure I'm sure there are so many things that I do not know that is transpiring, but I don't think we are getting the short end of it.
Well, quite to be fair to the government, they're building some infrastructure, fixing some interstate and federal
One
roads.
credit I would give this government is on macroeconomics. I'm not an economist, so my words might be a little different, but I think I flew into Abuja and I was impressed with the airport. Apart from that, this government, the huge credit I would give to them is from 1999, this is the only government that continued the previous administration's projects, that never abandoned them. Even if they didn't come up with brand new ones on their own, there are no ghost projects. That was very common in our politics.
Oh, yes.
Whereby this governor starts this road. Oh, because it's not me that started it, I don't want to give credit to this, I'm not going to. And you see that on the social media scheme, whereby the PDP sympathizers, when a railroad is completed or something, they're like, but he didn't start it. So what? To me, personally, I give them kudos on the macro level. But I'm not sure they get a pass on the micro level, and which is food on the table of everyday Nigerians. And I believe the general that people were clamoring for was the man of the people. I'm sure, like I said, it's not a criticism, but if we are to assess, I think on the micro level, I think we got the short end of the stick if we were to look at it from that perspective.
So let's flip back to the youth now.
Yes.
How do we get them interested?
We need to resell the youth on this entity called Nigeria, because I do not genuinely feel that they believe in this project.
Well, you still fall within that category, youth. So how would you sell the entity Nigeria to your fellow compatriots?
By selling them authenticity, by selling them genuineness, and by sensitization. Because it's easy to fall apart when you don't believe people, and we don't believe our politicians. Where someone, please allow me to backtrack a little bit. During the COVID,
Yes.
there was a lockdown, and there was the riots, and people busted into a factory. The word became a social media meme, palliatives. How can we justify that? Food that was destined for the populace was being hoarded by politicians. How can I justify that? We're talking about food. Forget the money. We are talking about food.
Yes.
And people are supposed to quarantine. So let's use the people that are working in hospitals, in hotels. So that means no money.
Yes.
Let's call the transporters. That means no money. Maybe the people the bankers, maybe banks are big enough or structured enough that they could still be paying their staff. But let's talk about the undocumented, the people that feed off of the everyday income. How are they supposed to abide by that lockdown in place? I'm not arguing the lockdown because of the epidemic. There is supposed to be a lockdown. But how are they supposed to survive? So then the word on the street came that there were this food, but some politicians stocked it. How can you justify that? Yeah, maybe not everybody wants to stick their neck out, which I can understand. the role is not for everybody.
So now, let's fast track.
Okay.
Sell Nigeria.
This is home. Nowhere like home. And all it's going to take is for us to get together. All it's going to take is for us to believe in the project. And if we believe in the Nigeria project, we define our Nigeria, not my Nigeria. Maybe my is not the word, because the word I want to use is my Nigeria, internalizing it for your own personal, not someone else's, your Nigeria. What is it you desire Nigeria to be? How do you create that? We need to resell this project, this entity. I genuinely believe that what else would they believe? There is nowhere else to go. This is home. It's just that home is not habitable.
Let me ask you this final question.
Yes, sir.
Is there hope for Nigeria?
Absolutely.
Show me.
We just need to try to get the right hands. And I'm sorry, even though it's your right question, I think people don't understand what the word change means. People got caught up with the change mantra, saying, we voted for change, we didn't get it. No. Change is a continuum. That we changed and didn't get it doesn't mean that we stop. If a female goes to a hair salon and gets a bad hairdresser, does she stop making her hair?
No.
She tries another hairdresser. Why is it that when we change a politician and they're bad, we give up? We change them. One of the reasons why I loved APC winning was that concept of change. It's not about the results. But if we can get the mindset that we can change people when they underperform, in the long term, it's going to be great for us. I believe in this country. It's not about anything else, but it's not a me thing. And I understand somebody that's not getting psyched up about the project. It's fine. That creates work. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. It's not meant to be easy.
So you're saying they should believe in change?
We should believe in the word change, not who spoke it. We should believe that change means that we have to keep trying until we get it right.
And we do that every election?
Every election, we have to participate. We must participate. I do not think that the parties currently existing are ideology-based, but we can change it from the outside. You can only change it from the inside.
Thank you very much, Alfred, for your time.
It's a pleasure.
I've had timeless conversations with Alfred Okoro. Next time, we'll bring you another interesting talk session. Bye-bye.
Businesses in Africa can be very challenging. In Nigeria, it is particularly intimidating. and successful builders have learned how to navigate a hostile environment to unlock opportunities. But one major challenge businesses face is how to filter through the noise and identify where their ideal customers exist. Get insight and practical steps from industry players and captains of industries. Hear success stories to help you make informed decisions as you scale your business in Nigeria. Watch Business Insights at this time on Plus TV Africa.
Good afternoon, I am Shadi Uwe, and this is the news brief. So Nigeria Labour Congress has suspended its two-day protest all over the country. So Labour, in a communique at the end of its National Executive Council meeting, said the objectives of the protest were achieved on the first day of the demonstration. Nigeria is battling rising inflation, food inflation, forex crisis, economic hardship, and high cost of living, occasioned by the removal of petrol subsidy, attracting protests in parts of the country. The presidency had engaged Labour leaders in a last-minute talk on Monday night, but the meeting ended in a stalemate as the NLC insisted that the protest was going to hold. Subsequently, the NLC grounded economic activities across the country on Tuesday, with Labour leader Joe Ajaero saying that the protest was about hunger and not just a clamour for a review of the minimum wage. However, in his communique last Tuesday, the first day of the protest, the highest organ of the NLC suspended street action for the second day of the protest, having achieved overwhelming success, thus attained the key objectives of the two-day protest on the first day. So Labour Minister in Kiruka, Onye Giocha, says the federal government has achieved about 90% of the agreement it had with the organised labour last October. According to her, the president of the Nigeria Labour Congress, Joe Ajaero, told government representatives at a meeting on Sunday that the protest was not about the government's commitment to the October agreement, but food inflation. Some ministers said food security and economic prosperity were part of the priorities of the President Bola Tinubu administration. She appealed to Nigerians to be patient with the new government as the administration is in its planting season with harvest on the horizon. Some of the agreements reached include granting wage award of 35,000 naira to workers, inauguration of minimum wage committee, and suspension of the collection of value-added tax on diesel for 6. On the provision of high-capacity CNG buses for mass transit in Nigeria, the minister said funds had been released for the purpose. President Bola Tinubu has launched the Expatriate Employment Levy to facilitate homegrown skill retention and technology domestication and to balance employment opportunities between Nigerians and expatriates. Speaking at the launch of the Expatriate Employment Levy handbook, the president also said the aim is to close wage gaps between expatriates and the Nigerian labor force while increasing employment opportunities for qualified Nigerians in foreign companies operating in the country.
The contribution recently approved by the government, which will impose effective timeline on expatriate workers in this country. To be able to train and develop Nigerians, to continue to encourage the operators, practitioners of the immigration matters and expatriate quotas, but don't use it as a bottleneck. Don't use it to frustrate potential investors. There must be clear line of implementation and effective acceleration of aims and objectives of this program.
Speaking on the details of the initiative, the Minister of Interior, Mr. Bumi Tunji Ojo, explained that the project will be operated on a public-private partnership model between the federal government of Nigeria, the Nigerian Immigration Service, which is the implementing agency, and a technical partner, EEL Projects Limited.
It is worthy of note to mention that the project is in line with the 8-point agenda of Mr. President, especially on the issue of job security and economic growth. It's important to note that this project will, among others, as I said earlier, lead to technological domestication in our country. Also, huge revenue generation to government, especially at this particular point in time. The main essence is to be sure that if you are bringing an expatriate to work in Nigeria, it should be a job that no Nigerian has the skill to do. That's the major objective of this particular initiative.
5 persons have been reported dead in the building collapse at the Oduigbo section of Ochanja Market in Onitsha South local government area. 3 of the 5 buildings under construction at the market collapsed on Monday evening, trapping several people under the rubble. So far, 26 people have been rescued, with 5 fatalities reported. While addressing the crowd at the site, Governor Soludo stressed that indiscriminate structures is part of the impunity his government is working hard to nip in the bud, cautioning developers against building without an approved plan. Officers of Kwara State Police Command, in conjunction with local hunters in Alo Village, Ifelodun local government area of the state, have rescued 2 kidnapped victims, killed one of the suspects, and arrested 5 others in a recent kidnapping attack on the village. Ammunition recovered from the suspects include 2 fabricated locally made guns, 12 7.62 mm AK-45 live ammunition, 8 expended 7.62 mm AK-47 ammunition, 1 empty magazine, 1 cutlass, and several plugs. The spokesperson of the command, Ejire Adetong Adeyemi, also stated that the case is currently under investigation and assured the public that every effort is being made to ensure the perpetrators face the full wrath of the law. Troops belonging to Operation Safe Haven, a military task force responsible for maintaining peace in Plateau State and parts of Bauchi and Kaduna states, demonstrated integrity by rejecting a 1.5 million naira bribe offered by suspected cattle rustlers in Plateau. According to Captain James Oya, the media officer of the operation, the troops stationed at Section 4 apprehended 2 suspected rustlers who attempted to bribe them. Oya highlighted that the 8 personnel involved in rejecting the bribe were not only praised but also rewarded by Major General Abdusalam Abubakar, the commander of the operation. The Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, has reiterated the need for the military to be ahead of terrorists in winning the hearts and minds of the people in the various theaters of operations. Musa said this on Tuesday in Abuja in his keynote address at a seminar organized by the Defense Correspondents Association of Nigeria. Musa said the Nigerian military had continued to engage in more non-kinetic activities to enhance its effectiveness in combating terrorism and other security challenges in the country.
It is worthy to note that the non-kinetic efforts of the Armed Forces of Nigeria have produced appreciable outcomes complementing our kinetic actions, though not without challenges. I wish to assert here that the Armed Forces of Nigeria and other various security agencies have continued to work tirelessly to improve Nigeria's security. Going further, I want to state that tackling threats in Nigeria is a continuous process whereby the development of resilience at societal, national, and regional levels plays a key role.
The People's Democratic Party has issued a certificate of return to Dr. Asue Ighodalo as its candidate for the September 21 Edo governorship election. The PDP acting national chairman, Malam Umar Damagum, presented the certificate at a ceremony at the National Secretariat of the party in Wadata Plaza, Abuja.
An electoral panel, they've gone there, they've had an election. Till this moment, to us in the NWC, we are not aware of any parallel election. All we know is the election that has taken place in that tennis court.
Also speaking, Ighodalo commended all stakeholders of the party for their support, promising to transform Edo to a first world economy if elected as governor.
When I become governor, run a government that is propelled by youth, for youth, with youth. I will take their strength and their creativity.
The governorship candidate of the new Nigeria People Party in the forthcoming governorship election in Edo State, Dr. Azame Azina, says he will put an end to multiple taxation in the state. Pastor Azina said this while playing host to the Association of Mass Communication Students 2005 ND-set from Federal Polytechnic Auchi in Benin City, the state capital. Azina said if elected as governor of Edo State, he will create a better economic system that will favor the poorest of the poor in the society.
When I become the governor of Edo State, multiple taxation will end. Today in Edo State, you will hear of this, you will hear of that, you will hear of that. You will see tickets for somebody who is hawking something, collecting 5 tickets, 4 tickets, bus driver collecting several ticketing. It will stop. The best way to grow economic is not to make the poor more poorer. It's to take from the rich and raise the poor. But what we have today, they are putting much load on the poor, and the poor is going down while the rich is getting richer.
Azame Azena has always been a friend. He was my classmate. And right from time, I know him as somebody who is dogged and very reliable. I'm not saying it because he's here now, he has won the primary. But ever since I know that when he came out, he's going to pull a crowd. And by the grace of God, come November, we'll be in government house.
There is a saying that says, give somebody a trial. We've given other parties trial, so we should still give NNPP a try. Pastor Azame Azena has been into politics right from where we have been in school. He's going to deliver, as I said earlier. He's going to deliver us. Let's give him a try.
We have been together for over 21 years now that I've known him, and we schooled from 2003 to 2005. And from that time till now, that relationship is still there. Anywhere he's going to, you see him there. My friend, you are here. My classmates, you are here. Just like that. So he does not discriminate over anybody. If he sees you anywhere, he recognizes you and he talks with you.
The Benue State Governor, Hyacinth Alia, has inaugurated 2 separate panels to probe the management of the state's finances and assets under the immediate past administration of Samuel Ortom. Both panels are the Judicial Commission of Inquiry into the income and expenditure of Benue State Government from May 29, 2015 to May 28, 2023, and the Judicial Commission of Inquiry into the sale lease of government assets, companies and markets, both state and local government-owned markets, as well as moribund companies from or before May 28, 2015 to May 28, 2023. Justice Taiwo retired as heading the panel on income and expenditure, while Justice Apollos Ide heads the panel on sale lease of government assets, companies and markets. Addressing the members, Governor Alia said the move was part of the collective agenda of his administration to promote accountability, transparency, and good governance in the state. Governor Agbo Kefas has assented to the bill passed by Taraba State House of Assembly for the rotation of the first-class chief of Takum local government of the state, which empower government to appoint 3 third-class chiefs. Governor Kefas made this official in the Takum town in the presence of some members of the Taraba State House of Assembly. Our correspondent, Jude Nuhu Gundali, filed in this report.
The vacuum created after the demise of Takum monarch 28 years back will soon be filled following the passing of a bill into law by Taraba State House of Assembly. The new law mandated the 3 major tribes that made up of the town to rotating the first-class king of Takum. Assenting to the bill seeking for the establishment of a rotational first-class chief of Takum and 3 third-class chiefs in Takum, the governor, Agbo Kefas, said it is in the interest of peace and development of the state. He commended members of the State House of Assembly for critically doing justice to the bill.
So I'm glad that the members look at it critically. They've told you the stages and the rigorous processes that the bill went through before it's been ascended into law. So I think they've done very well, and I'm glad that we're all in the same page. So that means all of us are working for the interests of the state, and so I want to commend them for their cooperation.
The Deputy Speaker of Taraba State House of Assembly, Honorable Abdullahi Haman Adama Borkonu, said the bill has gone through all the legislative processes.
It's a vacant rule of Takum for a decade. Lot of crises, whatever is going on. And therefore, it is one magnanimity to send a bill to the Taraba State House of Assembly, bringing a reality on the ground to establish a paramount chief in Takum, which the tools will be rotational between the inhabitants of Takum.
Meanwhile, reactions have continued to trail the new law as the member representing Usa constituency at the Taraba State House of Assembly has denied supporting the bill passing into law. Honorable Rikupe Joshua, at a press conference in Jalingo, says that he didn't consent and will never accept the idea of rotation of Ukwe, Takum stool, or in support of creation of the 3 third-class chiefs in Takum.
I want to say unequivocally that I didn't consent and will never, I repeat, will never accept the idea of rotation of Okwe Takum stool, nor agree with the bill seeking to rotate the referred stool of the paramount ruler of Takum, and also the creation of 3 third-class chiefs in Takum chiefdom that was recently passed into law by the Taraba State House of Assembly.
To the best of my knowledge, our honorable member, Rikupe Joshua Odenyang, is a typical Kuteb man, born and brought up in Kuteb man. He knows, he's a lover of his community, a lover of Kuteb man in general. Before this rotation issue, Odenyang has tried all his possible best to kick against the rotation of this the chieftaincy affairs among the 3 ethics in Takum local government. He tried all his possible best to make some of his members who are lover to him to support him, kicking against the decision, but it couldn't work because he was alone in the house, and 1 person can never make a tree. He was alone.
Now that Governor Kefas has signed it into law, the alternative left for the aggrieved is to approach court for redress.
It is no secret that the economy of the country is in dire straits. Nigerians are speaking on how they have been coping with the economic hardship and what the government can do to assist the people. That's on Straight Views. Do take a listen.
It's really sad, actually, because, I mean, the cost of things are very crazy. You know, you buy something for a particular amount on Monday, you go back to the market on Tuesday, just barely 24 hours after, and it's almost triple the price. And some people can barely afford, you know, that kind of lifestyle. So really the hardship presently is difficult. The country is almost impossible and unbearable for people to live.
It has not been easy, you know. The way things are expensive, it has warranted us to be trekking. Like you see the way I'm sweating, because the cost of transportation is high. So I have to trek down here so that the cheap need to be cheap for me. Going to the market and things are expensive, you know. Cost of transportation, cost of living is high and all that. They are supposed to know what to do. They can improve on it. They should step up their game in their administration.
Governments have a lot of things to do, and we personally as Nigerians, we have a lot of things to do. We know that governments are making policies that are not economically favorable for Nigerians, especially people as grassroots. That one, number one. Then number 2 is that we ourselves, we are doing ourselves. In what sense is that there are some things there are some commodities that we purchase in this country that are not dollar monetary value. But we just like once we hear there is a rise in dollar, sure you understand, everybody thanks to even local made products. People thanks to like, oh okay, even what you are not buying with dollar, people tends to like, okay, base the price of on dollar.
It's about time for them to wake up, because this is not what they promised us. We suffer, we're in the sun, in the rain, voting for them. At the end of the day, this is what they are giving us. We don't like it. We don't like it. They should see to it. The hardship everywhere. Even yesterday, I saw it at the social media, where a father shot his son because the son did not give him permission before he cooked the last meal, and the guy died. You understand? This is not good. The government, they are really treating us bad. Nigeria government, Baba Jagaban, this is not what you promised us. What is happening?
Government has to do a lot of things. The migration issue is another thing, you know, because the economy is biting, and I think the government should look at it. Look at the economic performance of people, the purchasing power of individuals, that it is actually low. They have to do something on it. One, they should bring down prices of goods, open up the borders. Since our agricultural sector is zero, we are not farming as a result of Boko Haram, terrorism, and kidnapping. So I think they have to open up the border and allow people and allow the inflow of food. Let people eat first. When we eat, we can have the strength to do the next thing. But the basic things of life, food, shelter, and clothing. Food is lacking, shelter is even lacking. Is it clothing? Everything is very expensive. So they should open up the border. For now, that's one of the economic advices and advisories I will give the government. Forget about every other thing you're doing. Open the border and allow people to feed.
Now moving on to news from outside Africa. NATO countries, including the US, the UK and Germany, have expressed that Western countries will not send any ground troops to Ukraine, turning down French President Emmanuel Macron's recent suggestion. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's spokesman said the country had no plans for a large-scale military deployment to Ukraine beyond the small number of personnel already training Ukrainian forces. U.S. President Joe Biden believes the path to victory is sending military aid to Kyiv so Ukrainian troops have the weapons and ammunition they need to defend themselves. And in business, the Central Bank of Nigeria Monetary Policy Committee has raised the monetary policy rate by 400 basis points to 22.75% from 18.75%. Governor of the CBN, Yemi Cardoso, announced this after the first MPC meeting for the year in Abuja on Tuesday. The MPR has been 18.75% since the last MPC meeting between 24th and 25th July 2023.
The committee decided to further tighten monetary policy as follows. 1. Raise the MPR by 400 basis points to 22.75 from 18.75%. Adjust the asymmetric corridor around the MPR to plus 100 to minus 700 from plus 100 to minus 300 basis points. Raise the cash reserve ratio from 32.5% to 45%. Retain the liquidity ratio at 30%. In the opinion of the committee, the options available for decision was to either hold or hike the policy rate to offset the persistent inflationary pressures. Some of these reforms include the unification of the foreign exchange market, promotion of a willing buyer and willing seller market, removal of all limits on margins for IMTO remittances, introduction of a two-way quote system, and the broad reforms in the BDC segment of the market to restore stability, enhance transparency, boost supply, and promote price discovery in the Nigeria Autonomous Foreign Exchange Market, NAFEM.
And in entertainment, Nigerian actor Tayo Adeleye, who announced the passing of his wife on social media on Tuesday, has described a dream his wife shared 2 weeks before her passing, where she saw herself flying. He then wrote a moving tribute, calling her his guiding light, partner in tears and laughter, and stating her love continues to illuminate his path. Adeleye and his wife were married in December 2022. And in sports, Britain and Hove Albion winger Kaoru Mitoma will likely miss the rest of the season due to a back problem, as manager Roberto De Zerbi said on Tuesday. The 26-year-old Japan international had missed Britain's 1-1 home draw against Everton in the Premier League at the weekend, was the same issue. Mitoma was also sidelined with an ankle injury in December, but was called up to the Japan squad for the Asian Cup, which concluded earlier this month. And that's the news brief. For more stories, please follow us on Facebook, X, and Instagram, and do subscribe to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa and Plus TV Africa Lifestyle. You can also view us on LiveMix on LiveMix.tv and Glo TV apps anywhere in the world. I am Shadi Uwe. Many thanks for watching.
I will take you through this amazing lesson today.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Bukky November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
True Nigerians, Heroes of Our Time, a program where we celebrate Nigerians as a people and Nigeria as a country.
It's uniquely different from every other TV program. Why? Because it's a celebration of Nigerians, both at home and in diaspora, who have achieved in their various fields. A celebration of patriotism, hard work, role models. It's all about Nigerians as a people and Nigeria as a country. My name is Zaki Adze. Join me every Thursday, 9 p.m. and a repeat broadcast every Sunday, 12:30 p.m. on this station to celebrate true Nigerians, heroes of our time.
For me, I wanted to change that culture. I didn't believe that until you see a white man or you see a foreigner in the kitchen before you can believe that, you know, good food is going to come out of that kitchen.
You can leverage on each other's spaces and, you know, sell. We believe in Nigeria, right? We believe that Nigeria can get better. We, the youth, are the ones that can make it better.
And my products are proudly made in Nigeria.
Made in Nigeria, showing every Tuesday at 10:30 p.m. and repeats on Saturday at 8:30 a.m.
Hello and welcome to What Are You Saying? #Ways, where we talk about topics in the news as it affects us all. I am Sayome Sally, and today Mary and I in studio. Hi Mary.
Hello.
How's the week been for you?
Hectic, productive regardless, but it's been good.
Awesome. So many crazy stories in the news, but
your week been?
My week? So. Anything interesting? Yeah, just work. Just work.
Yeah, you seem a bit calm.
I'm calm. There's just too many news and I don't want to get upset, so let's just be calm. So we're having a conversation around our healthcare system, and here's what we found as today's quote. A standardized healthcare sector is one where all Nigerians, regardless of their income or location, can expect to receive the same high quality care. Now, this is from an anonymous source. Now, the Association of Resident Doctors recently disclosed the death of Dr. Umar Michael, a medical doctor at the Lagos University Teaching Hospital, Idi-Araba, who slumped and died after performing a 72-hour surgery without a break at a neurosurgery facility. Now, also following the arrest of the auxiliary nurse who was reported to have injected the musician Mohbad before, of course, his demise, we want to just discuss issues around the healthcare sector. As you already know, it's our Ladies' Night Out, and Mary and I will be discussing how we can standardize the Nigerian healthcare sector. And when we open our phone lines, we'd really love to hear your thoughts on this. First, I think it would be nice for people to also share their stories. We will share our own stories. We'll love to hear your stories of, incidences that have happened in the hospitals and all of that. But first, let's go on a break. When we come back from that break, we want to see what we found in the news. All right, you're still watching Ways Now. International Peace Day is celebrated annually on the 21st of September. It is a day to promote peace and non-violence around the world. The theme for International Peace Day 2023 is Action for Peace. Our ambition for the hashtag global goals. Now, this theme recognizes the interconnectedness of peace and sustainable development. It also calls on anyone to take action to build a more peaceful world. Okay, so I mean, today is a very interesting day. A lot of people are doing so many peace walks and all of that, so it's just an apt season.
Yeah.
It's very sad, honestly. It's very sad. I think maybe what is saddening me is the fact that I just watched the video of the dead body that was being exhumed, and seeing fresh
blood.
Jeez, I think that's what is. Now I can trace it.
I haven't even seen the video, but
so I literally, right, I've been seeing the video all day, but I just scroll past it because I actually most of my day I've been reading, I've been studying. So a few times that I went on social media just to check what's happening so that we could discuss, our topic for the day. I saw something around, body has been exhumed. I never clicked on it. It was when I was having my makeup done, I clicked on it and I saw fresh blood. Like literally, this is, is there anything in this life that would make me resort to say maybe the ultimate prize, death? Everything can be peacefully resolved as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. I mean, how bad could it be that you? Why was he rushed? Why did they rush to bury him?
Sad.
It's a long story to
very, very sad
to talk about. But
I think it's just a downer for me. What did you find?
I'm happy about how people are speaking up. I passed through the Ozumba while they were doing the protest, and I was happy to see that. I don't think the generation before this would even, have the courage to say anything or even challenge. I mean, the Malian music as a whole, I think they're pretty much very big, and to be able to challenge them, to be able to say you want to cancel their music, that means there's a force. We're gradually waking up that yes, our voice matters. It will be hard, and it will take time, but we're gonna keep pushing, and so.
Peacefully.
Grateful for that. Yes, peacefully.
Absolutely.
Peacefully.
So what did you find for us in the news?
It was a Sigma bad story. Singer Davido made an appearance at the protest, which is very much interesting. I like that the artists are also coming out to support. So it's not just the youths or the listeners of the music. I mean, if the big shots in the industry are showing support, then definitely I hope and I believe that we will get justice, or at least some people will be properly apprehended.
Yeah, speaking about that, there's so many developing stories, but let me quickly take my story first. And the reason I'm taking it is also tied to, since we're discussing issues around healthcare sector. So I have 2 stories to take. First of all is the fact that 4 people escaped death in Lekki Ajah Expressway on an auto crash, right? The incident happened around the Salau Junction area of the Lekki Ajah Expressway. The reason I'm talking about this particular news is the fact that literally Lekki Ekpe Expressway is a death trap, right? It's actually inhumane what our leaders are doing to us. Uti went to Benin and she said that at some point the car had to stop. They had to come down and enter Okada. She was going for a wedding. That they had to stop because the road was just not motorable. And this bad road, she was even trying to say, we thought we had bad roads in Lagos, then go to other parts of the world. Parts of the country. So the reason I'm raising this is, I don't know about other parts, but I've been to Kaduna, I've been to Abuja. Rarely would you see really, really bad roads, right? I don't understand. Yeah, there might be those areas where you would have bad roads. Maybe I've not plied those routes.
Yeah, but major access roads should.
I'm saying that, generally, I don't think, I feel like our leaders just want to keep us busy with things that we're not supposed to be busy with, right? I'm doing a course with Harvard, and they were talking about how they put a cost, right, to incidences that happened. So they put like they pinned it down to how much naira and kobo was lost in those incidences that happened around the healthcare sector. Just imagine for a second if we're able to put data, right, to some of these things that we go through. Now, I've had to be passing an alternate route every single day because once I come out of my house, right, I see like the map telling me that I have a 50-something minutes what's it called? And you know, when Google gives you 50-something minutes, expect a 3-hour. Do you understand? Expect a 3-hour delay. So it is really, really bad. Like literally, I don't know what else we can do to this our leaders. Like, do you literally derive joy in watching people either die on the roads or get stuck and are frustrated? It's just too much. It's like they just want to keep us busy with terrible governance. I don't know what to say. Like, what will it cost for us to have roads that are pothole free? What would it cost? So I want to take a quick story that is tied to the conversation that we're having today, which is the fact that the medical, it says the medical postgraduate school of the postgraduate medical college, right? They've decried, what's it called? They lament low enrollment of postgraduate medical students to train, owing to the continued emigration of doctors, right? The reason I'm taking this story again is tied to what we're having today. And from the reports, speaking on Wednesday at the institution in Janiki, Lagos, during the pre-convocation press briefing ahead of convocation of over 500 postgraduate doctors, that's today, Oshibogun said that efforts must be made to stem the tides of japa amongst medical doctors. He said that we will be convocating about 413 new fellows and 92 doctors of medicine. We will have over 500 postgraduate doctor conferences on Thursday. And the main challenge we face now is that we do not have enough people to train, because as doctors graduate, the syndrome, the japa syndrome, what is generally referred to as brain drain in the country, is affecting them. To address that problem, we need to train more and retain more. There are two legs to it. We need to ramp up our training processes, and we also need to put in place, mainly on the side of government, the mechanism to ensure that skilled manpower remains in the country. There are several ways in which the government can do that. At our last conference, we proffered some solutions as to how we can retain trained manpower through financial and non-financial incentives. I'm taking this story because of the conversation we're having around the healthcare sector. So it's not just enough for us to complain, right? There has to be a structure, and we have to see the willpower of our government to say, yes, we truly want to solve this problem. We'll take a break now. When we come back from that break, right, we'll be discussing the issues around the healthcare sector, and let's see how we can prefer solutions to them. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
It is engagement we need to have.
Those who suffer miscarriages are never taken into account.
Members of the National Assembly are also influence peddlers.
You are sitting on Nigerians' money.
From the Babin, I pay my rent. On the Babin, I send my children to school.
A consultative engagement.
No any tangible notification before they ban us.
It's one thing for people to be at your back and the heat of the moment, and another thing for them to still be with you when push comes to shove.
All right, you're still watching Ways. So the limited funding, brain drain, lack of infrastructure, and corruption are some of the challenges facing the Nigerian healthcare sector and inhibiting its growth. It is clear that there is a significant variation of or rather in the quality and availability of healthcare services across the country, with urban areas generally having better access to quality care than rural areas. So now, although the Nigerian government has taken several steps to improve the standardization of the health sector, such as developing national standards for healthcare quality and safety, establishing a national accreditation system for hospitals, and developing training programs for healthcare workers, more needs to be done to ensure that all Nigerians have access to quality healthcare services and that medical practitioners are able to work in an enabling environment. So today we're asking, how can we standardize the Nigerian healthcare sector? Please let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us a WhatsApp or SMS to 081-803-4663. We'll open our phone lines very shortly, right? But I really want to hear your thoughts. So I did a quick research, or would I say just a quick scan through, right? There are a couple of things that happens in our medical facilities, right? And first of all, let us even first put the one that is hot and burning on the table, which is the death of this young boy that is alleged that a nurse had injected him, and afterwards he was dead. Two things that stuck out for me, if you take it from the angle of the healthcare sector. What qualifies, who is supposed to certify, that's the word I'm looking for, that somebody is dead? Do you understand? So can I just pick you up now? Maybe you just passed out. Or pick up somebody and the person just passed out and just take the person straight to the mortuary, or just go and bury, you don't know what I'm saying? Or just go and bury the person. Like, is there not supposed to be a standardized process to, what's it called? Birth and death. Do you understand? Issue a death certificate, and that is a death certificate now that now warrants that body to be put in the ground, right? So that's one question on the healthcare side. Also, if somebody comes into your hospital, I said this yesterday, how a friend of mine almost lost her child because of a quack doctor that lost his license in the US, and he was able to practice. He's still practicing freely in Nigeria, right? There is a body that's supposed to regulate, hospitals. But I looked at it, I said, okay, we are over, 200 million people in Nigeria. And you have just about 40,000 plus, by a fraction, functional hospitals and clinics across 36 states of the Federation of Nigeria. How are you able to cater, right? So if you then put a ratio, right, to maybe doctor to patient ratio, right? They said it's about 1 to 10,000 patients. More than that. So I mean, like, literally, how do we solve this problem, right? How do we ensure that our health care system is standardized? When I can wake up tomorrow and just go and say I'm a nurse and inject people, because that is what this Mohbad's case has shown me, that anybody can just wake up and say I'm the nurse and inject. So why are we not mentioning hospitals? Why are we not reporting hospitals? Yesterday I took a story of somebody that went in for a minor surgery and came out with 1 kidney. These are things that happens all the time. The young boy that his small intestine went missing, who have been identified as culprit and who have been arrested. So there's a lot of rot in the healthcare sector. And when you now hear people saying that, okay, the training facilities for doctors saying that they don't even have students to train anymore because students want to leave and return, why would they not go? Because their hands are tied.
Everything, they're overwhelmed with their own task that they're given, and the lack of regulation is really the issue. And I think it goes back to governance. I mean, it's the same way with roads, it's the same way with the healthcare facility. I think the only time where we experienced a reasonable, improve or a reasonable process was during COVID. And someone pointed out that was because the politicians didn't have access to leave the country. So everybody is stuck here. and so they were forced to put down their money and, you know, put things else in place. Some of them are hiring ambulances to stay in their house 247, you know, and I mean, if it's a private healthcare sector, they were happy about that because that's more funds for them, you know, but that so far, that's been the only period. We don't have to get to a pandemic. We don't have to get to a point where, you know, everyone is going to die before you know that you should put structures in place that the common man can, you know, go to the hospital and come out alive. My dad went in for what? A blood transfusion that, you know, he literally said to me, oh yeah, I'll come back. Like, it just takes a couple of hours, you know, they do it and then you return back to the house. And it was a big deal. Is it that you didn't check the blood group of the person? Why would you issue a different blood pack that's not in the same group to someone and you expect the body not to react? So why do we know our blood groups in the first place?
Calm down. What was the story?
The story was he went in for a blood transfusion and he was reacting to the blood and he died.
What hospital?
It's in my estate, Ajaro Estate, and they're still functioning. There was no what can we possibly do? It was totally absurd. It was total because as at the time I went to see him, after a while, you know, my mom had told me, oh, he's reacting to the blood, and I just couldn't wrap my head around it to say, I don't understand. There's medical data before you issue blood. So why, you know, and if you notice that, oh, the person is reacting to blood, why wasn't he stopped at that point? Well, you know, at that age, there was, you know,
How long ago was this?
This was 7 years ago. And there was little, you know, I could do. All I know was I just got a call in the morning because my mom slept in the hospital. That, oh, your dad is dead. And I was like, okay. And, you know, reading up a blood transfusion really is not that much of a big deal. Like, it's not.
It's not a big deal.
It's not. And there's even after that, there's several other cases that I've heard that people die from blood transfusion. Like, I mean, it's totally absurd. So the doctors, are they inadequate? Are they overwhelmed? You know, the WHO ratio as well as compared to other countries, you know, outside the country is like 1 to 600, and in Nigeria is 1 to 40-something thousand. I mean, how does it work? I have doctors that live with me, and trust me, they're exhausted. And they're enduring the pain, telling me, girl, we're leaving the country. These they schooled abroad, schooled in Ukraine, you know, but then they're overworked, they're underpaid, you know, they can't even afford like a basic good structure for themselves. So I mean, it's like there's nothing looking for them to look forward to, you know, being here, which is really sad.
I mean, it's really sad because, okay, if we take it back to the young doctor that died, you know, that even brought up the conversation, he passed out. Like, how can you be working for 72 hours? Straight. So even if the doctor did not pass out, this is the case where you see that doctor forgot a needle inside somebody's body. Because even if he did not die, right? How can you allow someone work for 72 hours stretch, right? Of course, he is a human being. And you see, this is the thing that sometimes, like, it just breaks my heart because I just wish, you know, we are complaining and we're shouting about a death of a young boy, right? The Mohbad boy. But it says everything that happened to that boy, you can clearly see that is a result of a failed system. Because if we had a situation where Nigerians, young Nigerians, had other options, they had good options. So it is not just, I'm not just, what's it called? I'm not just picking entertainment just because I see that is the only way. There are options, right? I can use my brain to make money. I can go to school and make money. I can use my handwork and make money. But if you check every young person now, even a 2-year-old toddler will tell you that I want to sing. I want to be an entertainer. And this is what is happening now. There's a proliferation of, what's it called, vulgar music in the minds of these young people that is feeding them talking about sex, about drugs, about cultism and all of that. And we have allowed all these things over the years. And you not expect that the system will be better. So when we talk about the government and we're telling them that, guys, this thing, in the end, it will harm all of us. Right? This is what we're saying. Why do we need to be doing candlelight procession? Right? When in the first place, this person should not even be there.
If there was a system, why would you just bury someone? Even the bending of his head in the coffin, I don't understand.
No, I mean, look at that body that was taken out. Because I was saying that what body is supposed to, I think they said it's the National Census Commission or so, that is supposed to certify, like issue that death certificate. So, like literally, does it mean that anybody can just wake up and say somebody died? Abroad, your dog, God help you. Do you understand?
Very true.
Anything happen, even to the animals, I'm not talking about human beings.
Yeah.
Let anything happen. Do you know that my sister rears chicken? She rears chicken in France, right? And she said that she cannot slaughter that chicken. She can't slaughter that chicken. If she wants to slaughter that chicken, you understand? Say, oh, Christmas don't come, make her just. She can't slaughter that chicken. She has to take the chicken to the butchery. Those are the people that are authorized. Do you understand? To slaughter the chicken. Because even down to the people that will pick up your trash, if they see what's it called, feather inside there, you will come and answer question. Even leaves, right? When they prune their whatever, their grass, they're not allowed to do anything to it. They're supposed to come and pick it up. You can't burn it. Like literally, these are people that understand life. Because even in that leaf, there's life.
Yeah.
And they value life. And they hold life there. No, not to talk of Nigeria. Human beings. I had a sister-in-law. You know, every time I talk about it, it's so painful. Because I remember then, my son is 17, I was breastfeeding. When they called us that she had been rushed to the hospital, she was trying to have a baby. And we rushed down to the hospital and everything. Even while breastfeeding, I was able to give her, because I can donate blood to anybody. They took out some blood and all of that. You know, they had done the surgery and everything. I keep on saying that it is neglect. And because we don't even report these cases. Do you understand? Because now, your father's death, nobody took it to the authorities. And the hospital is just still roaming free.
Yeah, my mom had just said.
My sister-in-law died. So after the surgery, they took her to the ward. I mean, the room, her private room.
Yeah.
So we were exhausted. Because we were there overnight. And, you know, I was breastfeeding. I said, okay, you know what, let's just quickly rush over to the Palms. Quickly eat something, then come back. Because the hospital is in VI here, right? On getting there, while we were at the Palms, I was so restless. I don't know what happened, but I was restless. I kept on telling them, hurry up and eat, let's go back. By the time we got back, I just heard her breathing. Somebody that just came out of a surgery, right? They took out a preterm baby. You didn't even put any like monitoring, to monitor her vitals. I just heard her breathing. I just said, why is she breathing funny? I kept on calling her name, are you okay? Are you okay? I don't know what, something just said lift. Do you understand? I was asking her, is she cold? So I was lifting because they had covered her up. When I lifted that duvet, it was blood all over the place. So all the blood that they had transfused, everything was just all over on the bed. She was soaked in the pool of the blood. That was how I started screaming, and the nurse, and that was the last I saw her. She died. But you see, the thing is, everybody's in a state of mourning. Nobody questions. Yes. And that's why I'm happy with the movement of saying, what happened? Do you understand? Because what gives you the audacity?
Can't you just give us a crappy story?
Do you understand? What gives you the audacity to bury? Like literally, if every hospital is charged with that responsibility of giving an autopsy report for every death, maybe they'll be a lot more careful. And you will not be having a situation where you overwork your doctors. You will now pay them, you know, appropriately.
Yeah, but even the funding from the government is not enough.
I'm just frustrated.
The funding from the government is not sufficient. So you have general hospitals that are, you know, pretty, I mean, might not be the best, but, you know, you have very good doctors there, and they can't handle the amount of people they're getting. I'm sure you know what it is to get, even maybe you want to do something there, you probably have to know somebody to be able to, because the line and the queue is ridiculous.
You know what, let's take a break. I want to give you my experience with
General Hospital.
So this one was private. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. Now, if we just tuned in, we're having a conversation around standardizing our healthcare sector. Please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-4663. Our phone line is now open. The number to call, I don't know why it's not displaying, but the number to call is 07025-007749. That's the number to call. Remember, you can join the conversation. Just turn up the volume of whatever device it is you're watching us from. I'm sorry if you don't have the number. We can't, I don't know why it's not displaying. All right, that's the number to call. So, I was saying before the break that I will give you an experience I had with the government hospital. So, something happened and someone was hit and, broken leg and all of that. And by the time we got to the hospital, I kid you not, I saw nurses coming out and issuing drips inside the tuk-tuk, the keke napep. They were infusing drip lines, because there were people all over the ground. So even these facilities, right? We have a lot of abandoned buildings in Ikoyi that you just see high-rise, multiple high-rise. Nobody's living there. And you see seized by AMCON and all of that. Why can't we convert some of these places into healthcare facilities?
It comes back to funding.
Do you understand? It's not it's not the funding that is the problem, Mary. I think it is more of the, it is more of the will to do it. Let's take our first caller for the evening. Good evening. I do, but no day.
Be coming down, if you allow this country issue follow you, you don't be survivable.
I'm telling you.
Just smile. We are not top pilots in this country and God will help us.
Amen.
You see, the issue is that a lot of things are on cruise in this country, and if you start to bring how you they live called Nigeria, sometimes it affects the medulla oblongata. So forget Oyibo life. But that way first talk say, if person want to keep out, you will take it to the abattoir. Don't talk that one again, though.
I'm being honest with you, youngest old man.
You got the price to keep out again. After you don't hustle, buy foul, got the price to keep out.
Youngest old man. Youngest old man. Now place where be say they care about human life. Life, not even human. Whether na animal or whether na plant or whether na human being, they care about life in itself. Not be place where no care about life.
In a country where it has been designed to survive, the design of Nigeria is not expected to survive. In fact, we are surviving out of, you understand, favor from our endurance. You understand? We know they're not designed us more survive. A lot of things are not in place. Nothing is even in place. So those countries have been designed to survive, grow, build, expand, help others to grow too. When we have been designed to come up, scatter, destroy ourselves, and end up zero. So we are trying to survive because naturally we are people that can take in more than bring out little. You understand? So that's our nature. You understand? So forget about us in terms of all those kind of lifestyle. But for me, I understand that the fundamental of whatever you are talking about comes from the government itself. What is the system? What is the ratio to a doctor to patient? Well, there's nothing you can do that somebody can work more than he can. A doctor should not even see more than 6 people in a day. But in our country now, it's 1 doctor to 200. I went to a general hospital, my dear, I cried. Now, auxiliary is the 3 people. They brought a truck full of accident victims, and they are Nicola. Now, auxiliary is only 3 people. Doctor there every day because the doctor don't tire. He went to rest because he worked throughout the night. In a whole full a ward, only 1 doctor did. And that doctor, 9 days service 3 wards. Imagine that. So, and when you go to the private one, it's even worse. Now 1 doctor be the gynecologist, now 1 doctor be pediatrician, now 1 doctor be the everything. Even if you get even dentist, now 1 doctor. So a lot of things are not working in this country, but we have been designed to exist. So basically, we exist no matter what. However, the system is not happy. So this will complain, they enter my heart. When it takes off with the pipe load, the complainer will survive. Trust me, no matter what. But the better Nigeria will come one day. Whether we do or we don't do, but we need to tell the story one day. By the grace of God.
Thank you, youngest old man. See Mary smiling. It's just so sad. Like I can't even imagine, honestly. I said this thing yesterday that the faith I have about sickness, God will not let me to my back to be on the hospital bed. The only 2 times I've slept overnight in the hospital.
It's not a nice.
It is to just go and pop out a baby and come out. Is there anything that will make me sleep in the hospital? God will not let me see it.
And even
in this country,
even the private hospitals are freaking.
No, but it's not even about the expense now. Okay, the sister-in-law that I told you that, do you know what the bill was as at then? This is about 16 years ago, right? Do you know what the bill was? You know, and not only, it's not even about the expenses. It's the fact that nobody even checks.
Yeah.
Do you understand? It's just like the problem we have with education. We do not have standardized private schools because right now, even the government, even if they say they want to shut down those substandard schools, can they absorb the students that will be hanging from the shutting down of those schools? It's the same thing with hospitals. So I don't understand how a government will continue to promise the same thing for decades. Like, are you guys not even ashamed? Are you not tired? You go to all these countries, you see the standards, you go and use their facilities. Can you not say that, let it be a thing of pride that it is in my own country that these things are happening? No.
How to eat.
I promised myself I was not going to.
How to eat for themselves. I mean, I don't know. It's a very sad situation, to be honest. And every time we have to talk about the government, I feel very reluctant about it because it's like we come out here. We come out here. We
let me take Loma. It's the same thing we'll say. We'll keep repeating ourselves for decades. For goodness sake, are you guys not tired? Loma, are you there? Good evening. Thank you for calling. Good evening. Go ahead.
Nigeria can only capitalize in a national sector if we bring back the spirit which we attack Ebola. If you remember when Ebola came into this country, you see every sector, healthcare sector, they stood on their ground and make sure that Ebola did not spread the whole Nigeria or anyone the other. If we can bring back that thing, but if we are to go by the way the present politicians are doing, we will not go anywhere. Let us bring back the spirit we used to fight against Ebola. By so doing, people will know the importance of our healthcare sector. Those people that the professionals who are supposed to man these places will be put in place so that at the end of the day, we will not be suffering. Look at somebody who gets it. Before you know it, they will continue running around, running the paper with barrelling until somebody dies. And sometimes these days, our doctors are no more humane like before. Our nurses are no more humane like before. Before, a doctor would, even before, once you are sick, you go to a doctor. Not a word that comes out of the mouth will get killed. But this time around, a doctor can remove something from your body, do some certain things that are inhuman. So we can only standardize our healthcare sector if we bring back the spirit of oneness.
Thank you. Thank you, Loma. You see, when he was talking about Ebola, you know that Ebola is a big man sickness. You understand? You know, because they knew that, if we don't tackle this thing, we're all,
same thing with COVID.
The same thing with COVID.
Same thing during COVID. Do you understand? And because they couldn't, the people who have money or people who have access to fly out and give themselves
they couldn't fly out.
They couldn't fly out. So it's either you want to die or you
fix the problem.
Fix the problem. You know, and everybody was on their toes. So if it can work, you know, in a pandemic that way, I believe that if they actually do put effort, if they put, you know, the right structure and funding into it, we will get better.
But beyond,
it's not going to change overnight, but I mean,
beyond that, Mary, do you think that the government, if they put up a law, because we're trying to find the solution to how we can standardize our healthcare sector, if they put up a law that says that you cannot travel out of this country as a government official, I think they've said that and they've thrown it out several times, you understand? If we put that law, no, as a serving government official.
Okay.
Not us, waiting concern my money now.
But
as long as you're a government.
The leader at the top.
No, that's what I'm saying to you now.
It's not possible. It's not possible.
But they threw it out.
It's not.
No, because you know what you said now. Because there was a lockdown, you couldn't go anywhere. So it's either you fix the problem or we all die inside of it. So they now decided, you know what, we have to quickly fix this problem. Same thing with Ebola, right? But it's just really painful that it means my life is not safe.
Yeah.
I can't even, like, literally. And what is the body of the Medical Association of Nigeria, Medical and Dentist Association of Nigeria? What are they doing? Do you understand? Why are we not hearing that they just shut down this hospital, they just shut down that hospital? Why are we just having issues? Look at the doctor that died in an elevator that they had talked about several times, that they have been complaining about that elevator not being functional. Till tomorrow now, we don't know what the situation is.
Has it been fixed?
Is it even a fixing?
You know, would it not happen again?
Because
there's no story. It's just swept under the carpet.
When they are charged heavy fines, Mary, right?
Yeah.
Heavy fines.
They will sit up.
Now, imagine if they say there's a complainant, like for instance, if there's been a wrong in the hospital and you suspect foul play, maybe negligence or something, right? Because, I mean, when I had my child, I say this every time. I had the best gynecologist. I don't know where that doctor is. She was a female doctor, Dr. Ido. She was one that delivered my first son. By the time she delivered the baby, right, she then noticed that, yes, there was normally the bleeding, but she didn't notice there was another kind of bleeding. And she, because it was my first child and all of that, apparently Alpha gave me a tear. I had a cut that she made herself, but I had a tear. Imagine if she was not observant. So when she was done suturing, this is where you now hear cases of a woman being pregnant the first time, no problem, she's jumping up and down. By the time she's having a second child, she's losing the baby because the cervix cannot hold the child.
Yeah.
You hear stories like that.
Yeah.
But it was a negligence on somebody's part. You know, that thing would have healed itself. But she said no, that if I was going to have a second baby, it would pose a threat